famous.
Yeah, I gotta keep it trendy on my soul. I'm the most selfish person that I know. Here we go, down the rabbit hole. Got a couple carrots around my neck.
And we are live. Welcome back to Mescaline Moments. It's your boy, the one with the Scarface, your boy Scarface. And welcome back to another episode. You know, shout out to everyone who keeps listening to the podcast, supporting the podcast. It's because of you guys, because I get motivated to continue to make videos and you know, create content to push out to you guys. So shout out to everyone who keeps listening to the podcast every single week. And then if you can, wherever you're listening to, if you're listening to on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, share it. Or if you're listening on any other platform, give us a 5-star, leave a review, help your boy out. But anyways, if you want to keep helping your boy out, shout out to everyone who buys the merch, link is in the bio, and then also buys these pins. We also sell pins, hat pins, because you know, my ass be wearing fitteds all the time. So we got the baseball pin, the sleeping Goku pin, and then we also have a straight razor pin. New pins coming soon. I know you guys are asking me for some new pins. So those are coming soon. So, and thank you to everyone who supports the podcast. If you click on the link, you can go straight to the podcast homepage. And from there, you're able to set a monthly donation amount. You know, shout out to everyone. You don't have to. I'm just saying, like, this is just options out there. The money that I do get from that, I put it towards the podcast to get new equipment, other stuff, and things like that. That way I can make the experience better for you guys. So anyways, thank you guys again. But today we're going to get into a topic that I've been wanting to talk about just because, you know, some people are out here single, you know, like myself. I'm not going to act like I'm not single. But the question that I get all the time is, do I feel lonely while single? Now, in the beginning, come on, I talked about it on TikTok. I'm sure a lot of people get lonely in the beginning, but after a while, you just get used to being by yourself. And after my last relationship, I didn't want to get into another relationship. I wanted to take some time and focus on myself and do things for me. So I stopped. I wasn't in no hurry to get in a relationship at all, right? But then sometimes you go through those waves, right, where you're like, dang, it'd be cool to have somebody, right? It'd be cool to this, it'd be cool to that. But you get over those things quickly, and then you get to a point where you're just not like, well, you're okay. Not like you get to a point where you're fine being single. You're fine doing things going and doing things out by yourself. I go to movies, I go to whatever, I go by myself. I'm not reliant on nobody, right? Like, I don't need somebody to go and do something. Okay, I'll go do it myself. But then on the flip side of that, yeah, it would be nice to have somebody to go and do things with, you know what I mean? So that's why, like, it doesn't happen very often, but like every now and then when I see like a couple, I'm like, damn, it'd be cool to it'd be dope to have somebody to come and do this with them, you know? But then like a bunch of shit happens and I'm just like, yeah, that's why I'm single. So, and then another thing that I got to the point is, there's a lot less BS I will take from anybody. Meaning, red flags, instantly check out. I have my boundaries. If you can't, if you can't compromise with me and my boundaries and things like that, I'm good. I check out fast. You know, I'm just like, all right, I'm used to being by myself. Like, I can be by myself. It's cool. I'm not gonna settle for something less, you know. And a lot of people that want to be in a relationship, want to hurry and be in a relationship, are blind to a lot of these red flags. You know, they'll do something, you'll be like, nah, it's okay, it'll be fine. Or it was just like a one-time thing, you know, and then all of a sudden these little red flags or these red flags that you were blinded to, now later on, now it's a problem, you know, now it's an issue, now it's a bigger issue. So that's where I sit currently. But then I also have a list here for you guys of things that you can do while you're single, you know, and like things that you can work on yourself. Because again, you should not be in a hurry to be in a relationship. You know, the times that I force myself to find somebody to be in a relationship are the times that I found completely the wrong people, right? You know, so that's why I always tell people, just wait, just do your thing. Like, why are you in a hurry? You know, are you in a hurry to get into a relationship that's not going to work out? You know, then you're just going to waste a bunch of time that you were investing in to find out that this person is not the person that you wanted to be with, or not you're not compatible with, you know? That's why I'd rather stay single, figure my shit out. And then hopefully along the path, I find somebody that fits for me, you know? Again, I always say, like, the more you try to find somebody, the more you're going to find the wrong person. Okay. So, and for these people, they're like, where do you find good people at? Just go and do things. Like, staying at home, you're just going to find people on social media, weirdos, married men, engaged men, and vice versa. Come on, let's be honest. There's some married women out there trying to hit people up. Okay, I know you Susias in my DMs. Like, some of you guys are married. No, just joking. Now people are gonna be like, oh, I knew he was talking to married women. But one of the things you can do while you're single, that way you don't feel so lonely. Self-discovery. Use this time to learn more about yourself, your interests, your goals, explore new hobbies, and revisit old ones. And I always mention this all the time. Focus. When you're in a relationship, you're investing this time. Yes, you can still invest time into other things, but a lot of your time is going to go into this relationship. Because let's be honest, relationships are an investment of our time. Okay. And when you're no longer in a relationship, guess what? You have more time to focus on who? You. Okay. You have more time to focus on you. And I always tell people, is there a side hustle you wanted to start? Start it now. Is there something you've wanted to do, like learn a new hobby, a new trade, pick up new hobbies, you know, or like you said, revisit old ones that you liked, but the person that you were with did not like doing them, you know? So now you can do them. And this is why, like, focus on that stuff, okay? And then eventually, guess what? You get, say you start a side hustle or a new business, right? But now you're being involved with all these people over here. What makes you think you won't find somebody, you know, in that world, the world that you like, you know? This other world that you were in, maybe it wasn't. And I say worlds because, I mean, let's be honest. Like, when you're like, whatever you're doing, you're surrounded by that circle. Meaning, like, if you're out partying, guess what? You're going to be surrounded by that world, right? Like the whole party scene, things like that, people in that world. And that's totally cool. If that's what you want to do, that's totally cool. Or if you're involved into, like, media, like, for example, for myself, like, people in my world are media, entrepreneurs, content creators, and things like that. You see what I'm trying to say? Like, say you're, I do real estate. Say you're in that world. Guess what? Now you're surrounded by these people. And what makes you think you won't find somebody in that world? You know, that's what I mean by that. So that's why, like, if there's something that you want to do, go and do it. Like the anime world, whatever world you want to be in, you know. And that's one way of putting it. That just, I just mean, like, the circle you're around, you know. You're putting yourself in these circles, you know, and which one do you want to be around? So focus on your you know, hobbies, side hustle, you name it. There's all these things that you can do. The worst thing you can do is just sit alone by yourself. I'm alone like 98% of the time, and I'm okay with it. But I'm always doing stuff, recording the podcast, recording TikToks, filming for a client, editing for a client, meeting with somebody, talking with somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always doing something. There's very rarely a day that I don't do anything. Okay. Like, for example, yesterday, we had a 360 booth event, and I was planning on just sending my brother and my brother-in-law, and I was just going to relax. I wasn't even going to edit. I wasn't going to do anything. I was like, hey, like, I need to take a day just to chill, like a Saturday night just to chill. Like, maybe if I want to go get some drinks with some friends or something, like something to chill. I got hit up, hey, like, can you do a quince? We need somebody to do photos for a quince. And I was just like, you know what? Let's do it, right? Because I was just going to chill. Why not go take some pictures and make some money? Like, come on. So that's what I went to, and that's what I mean. Like, I'm very distracted, very busy, to the point where, like, sometimes I forget that I'm single because I'm, like, doing this and this and this. And then just the thought of a relationship, I'm just like, do I really want to do that right now? You know, like, but you never know. So the second one that I have on my list is personal growth. Set goals for yourself, improvement in areas like fitness, education, or a career. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself. And that's the one thing that you can do. I shared this the other day. You know, the best revenge you can get on somebody, because some people are like, oh, how do I get revenge on a cheater? Do I cheat back? No, like, never try to actually get revenge, like by doing some sort of act that's gonna cause a reaction from them, you know? No, what you should do is focus on growing. Cause imagine like you growing and glowing to this part to this person without this person, you know? And it's gonna make them jealous. It's gonna hurt their ego. It's gonna make them jealous. They're gonna be like, "Oh, I can't believe they're killing it without me." So you know, shout out to my exes that thought I didn't need them. I'm out here killing it. They're gonna. It's how do my exes watch this? Like I don't even know. Like somebody snitches on me. Somebody's like, "Guess what he said today? Guess what he said?" Because like I get messages and I'm just like, "What the fuck? Like how did you know?" Like I talk about something for like 15 seconds and then all of a sudden they get like the info. But focus on yourself, you know, personal growth. Like, is there something you want to do? You want to become fit or like more active? You know what I mean? Like, focus on that. You have more time to do that. You know, distract yourself with that. You might find somebody at the gym, you know, even though I recommend not dating people at the gym, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. But you know what I mean? Like you become more fit, more confident with yourself. And there's a bunch of different things you can do. Learn a new language, new hobbies, new trades, like grow yourself, read books. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, you know, and I'm always like taking in information, like, hey, like I'm of course, like anytime I listen to a book, I never take like the whole book and be like, I'm going to apply this to my life. No, you get like a few nuggets here, a few nuggets there. And you're just like, I like that. And I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start doing this over here too. So there's always plenty of room to grow. And it's just, if you want to like grow, if you want to like fix this lonely situation that you're in, because I would rather feel like this and try to figure myself out like this than to be in another half-assed relationship, to be in another relationship where I felt like, you know, should I be doing this? You know, like it's not working, you know, and things like that. I don't want to feel like that. So I'd rather feel sometimes lonely and then growing on myself, which makes me feel amazing, you know, or just being sad and depressed in a relationship and not being able to do other things because the other person doesn't like to do the same things that you like to do. So, I mean, you pick your poison here. All right. And so the next one that I have is social connection. Reach out to friends and family and make the effort to meet new people. Join clubs, attend events, or use social media apps to connect with like-minded individuals. And that's not saying like jump into like get to know people on Facebook, because you know sometimes there's some creeps on Facebook too. But what they mean by that is like plug yourself into these different Facebook groups. There's like entrepreneur groups. There's like this type of group. Whatever you like to do, I guarantee you there's a group. You know, there's groups for everything. There's sewing groups. There's running groups. There's shoe groups. There's anything groups, okay? Learning how to do something groups. Photography groups. Like there's groups for everything. Trust me. Like just search Facebook. So join some of those. Maybe you'll get invited to some of these events, and then network with people, talk with people. Keep your, like I do that all the time. I talk with people. I network with people. Like when I went to go do the quince, we went to a beautiful ranch. Like this, he had just built a gorgeous freaking barn. It looked amazing. I was like, damn, shit is nice. You know, and he had a lot of land, and he had a great view. And I'm just like, damn, this shit was not cheap to get a view like that, right? And then all that land. And so I was like, oh shit, that's the owner right there. Like, cause I was like, yo, who owns this, like, this ranch? And they're like, oh, that guy. And I'm like, all right, cool. My ass went over there, and so I started talking to him. Found out what he did, what he plans on doing. I let him know, like I introduced myself. I kind of let him know what I do. And I was like, hey, like how much would you charge me to bring some people out here and take some photos? And he's like, you know what? Here's my business card. You let me know like when you want to come out and we'll work something out. I'm like, all right, perfect. And then I was just like, hey, like do you need any sort of stuff and things like that for your business and things like that? You know what I mean? Like, and then slowly he was like, oh, you know what? I actually do need this and this and this. He's like, is that something you're able to do? I was like, my boy, here I am. And see, like, this is why you put yourself in those groups. You put yourself in those circles, those worlds, you know, and you get to meet new, like, cool people and people who will pay you your price that you quote them, you know, your worth. So Always put yourself out there. I don't mean like out there like start dating everybody and things like that. No, like social connections are great just because everything is social media related now. Like if you want to, businesses are growing off TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. You know, you can have a video go viral, and all of a sudden this person is like a person to know, making all sorts of money on social media just because you know he or she started posting stuff on social media. You can do a lot of things right now. The reason you're not doing those things is because you don't want to put in the work to get it there. So social connections, if you're an introvert, like I like to be, like I don't like to go out a whole lot, but you know, I do put myself out there in those certain rooms and places because I know the benefit of it. So, and then being alone all the time like that, like locked in a room or just watching TV, trust me, you get in your own head, especially if you're watching like lovey-dovey movies on Netflix or any whatever streaming service that you have. Like, so you start thinking about, oh man, that's so cute. I need somebody like that. Come on. You girls know you guys do that all the time with those romantic movies. Okay. So the next one we have is self-care. Prioritize self-care activities like meditation, exercise, reading, or pursuing creative outlets to boost your mental and emotional well-being. And so I think the creative part is I like, it keeps me busy. Like when I have to edit videos, photos, and stuff like that, and I have to create the concept myself, you know, or like tell some sort of story, or how do I want to go about this video, you know, like all this shit keeps myself distracted. Like the videos, like when I make the TikToks for you guys, when I make the podcast, like all right, I need to make a podcast episode. What we talking about? What was popular on TikTok? Hey, the whole lonely thing. Let's talk about that. You know, and then I do my little research, and then here we are. Okay. So that's why I'm always busy. Like during that whole time that I'm doing, like yesterday, I didn't have a chance to think about being single. I was busy as hell. Friday, I was busy as hell. The last time I thought, reminded myself, I'm like, oh shit, like it'd be nice to have somebody, was probably months ago. Okay. It's not like it happens every day. You know, it was probably months ago because I'm constantly busy, working on myself, hustling. And it's crazy. Like the more I hustle, the more I grind, the more I do like all this stuff, the more people are attracted to me because they're like, oh, dang, like I like that. He's a hustler. Oh, I like that. He's this, you know, but of course that comes at a sacrifice, you know, like, yeah, I could be out here like dating a bunch of girls and doing like the shit that I used to do when I had a bunch of time on my hands. But now I don't have that much time on my hands. And so like now I'm really picky where my time goes, you know, who I invest my time in and what that time goes into. Like it's got to benefit me in some certain way, meaning like I'm learning something new. I'm doing a gig. I'm getting paid to do something. I'm working. I'm hustling. I'm making content or anything like that. Like it has to do something. Like it has to benefit me in some way. So, all right. So the next one that we have is volunteer work. Volunteer work. Damn, I can't fucking talk. Volunteer work. Consider giving yourself time to cause. Consider giving your time to a cause that you're passionate about. Helping others can provide a sense of purpose and reduce loneliness. And maybe this is something you like. You know, obviously, I would like to volunteer a little bit more, do some volunteer work because it's always nice helping people. You know, but sometimes like right now, I'm just in grind mode. Like I barely have enough time to volunteer to myself. So imagine like trying to volunteer for something, and eventually that's the goal. Is like I like helping people. Sometimes when something happens, you know, I've gone to the grocery store, some lady has to put like things out just because like she can't afford the whole thing. So I'm just like, hey, like put it on my thing, like I got it, you know, and things like that. And like her whole thing, not just like the items she had to remove. I was just like, here, ring me up and then just charge me for her stuff too. Like I got it. You know, of course I'm not sitting here posting about it. I can if I want to get that type of reaction from people, like, look what I'm doing, you know? And sometimes I do post about it just because I want people to also do stuff like that, like help people. Of course, like if this lady was buying like cigarettes and stuff like that, or alcohol, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. Like you pay for that shit. But no, this was like essentials. Like she was taking out like milk. She was taking out a few other items, cleaning items that she had, obviously because to clean, and she didn't have enough for it. And so that's when I was like, I was behind somebody else, and like they were just waiting. I'm like, everybody doesn't have to do it, but I was behind that person, and I saw that going on, and I could have easily just been like, yo, like, here's some money, or I was just like, hey, is it cool if I go in front? Like, I was like, hey, like, I'll pay for all the stuff, just bring my stuff up. And then I was like, hey, is it cool if I go in front of you? And that person was like, yeah, that's totally fine. You know, maybe they felt some type of way because like, oh shit, maybe I should have done that. But again, I never do anything. Like, I would have done it with nobody watching, you know, just because I felt bad for her. Because not everybody's not in the same position, right? Shit, life happens and people are in different positions. So that's why I like to help. I like to help people, like whether it be like something like that, or even, I mean, I think my volunteer work comes from helping people. Like, there's some people who come through here and want to learn a few things, you know, and I try to like give them game on whatever I can. Like, hey, like, do this, and this. Like, especially if they want to get into media, I'm like, start with your phone. Like, I tell people, start with your phone, because people fall off on the editing. Like, that's where a lot of people fall off. There's somebody that was telling me, like, how can they go about doing things without having to edit? Like, they want to reduce their editing time. And I was like, you want to know how to reduce your editing time? You get good at editing, because then guess what? Your editing time goes down because you already know what you're going to do. So like, for example, I already have, like, I like my audio at certain, like, I have my, a preset that I made for like the podcast, for my TikTok mic, for my DJI mics, for whatever mic that I use, I have a preset for it. And why did I do that? So I can just be like, all right, we recorded it here. I'm gonna put this preset. Usually works out. If I have to make adjustments, I'll make adjustments. But for the most part, it works out. And now I don't have to go through and do all the things over and over and over and over again. So if you know how to do it on Adobe Audition, like make presets, it's you just record your whole thing. I didn't know how to do it until I learned how to do it, and I'm like, oh shit, that shit is easy. Like, it helped me so much more. Now I just put the clips that I want to edit with my presets, like my DJI kit, which is like my wireless ones. Boom, DJI preset that I have. All right, podcast mics. Boom, it literally says podcast. My TikTok mic literally says TikTok mic. And then I put it and it does all my little things that I would normally do. And then guess what? It just did it in like literally 5 to 10 seconds, depending on how long the clip is. But podcasts usually take a little bit longer because it's like in a longer file. But you know what I mean? So I always go off in little tangents and stuff like that. So volunteer work, go out, help somebody, do whatever you can, volunteer at your local shelter, soup kitchen. If you want to go and do stuff like that, you know, help people, you know, that's all that fulfills me too. Like, helping people. That's why I like just like having people come, spit game to them. Like, not game, like, of course I'm not perfect, but I tell them what I've learned so far and what's going to help them. Basically it. All right, so the next one that we have, again, this is if you can afford it, though. Travel and adventure. Plan trips or adventures that interest you. Exploring new places that can be rewarding and enriching experience. Now, that's why I said, like, everybody's financial situations is different, okay? But, like, planning adventures, be like, hey, like, I've been wanting to do that, you know, on this hike, or I've been wanting to go see that. I've been wanting to go do this. Like, start planning things there. But like, those can be like a little bit longer term goals. You know what I mean? Like, say you want to go travel somewhere. Obviously, you have to have money to spend, money to like the hotel, Airbnb, travel, like, because that's what I mean. Like, starts getting expensive. So these can be like bigger goals, right? And you can have a bunch of other like little stuff that you want to do. Meaning, like, you can put some of these other things that I've told you guys already to use until the day of your vacation, until the day that you're going to travel and go somewhere. So you can still do it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you can still do it. Kind of like you already, the only thing I don't recommend is going to the same place over and over. Like, I don't understand why people do that. Like, if you're going for a purpose, that's totally fine. But I don't understand why people save up money to go do the same shit. That's weird. You know what I mean? Like, why would you keep going? Like, the only reason I went to Vegas is because, obviously, for work, went to go hang out and things like that. So it's different. Would I go back to Vegas again? No. Like, I already know the Vegas scene. Like, it's cool and everything, but I'd rather go, like, if I want to spend some money, go and do something different. You know, go do something different. Even if I travel to the same place and, like, say I'm going to record content, like, I've been to Cali plenty of times, but Jackie and I were gonna record content, so I was like, I'm gonna go to Cali to go record content with Jackie. So that was the reason for me to go, something different, something, you know. But travel, you know, do your adventures that you want to do, because everyone has different type of adventures. Some people, it might not be traveling. Some people, it might be like just like different hikes, you know, or I mean, I think for the most part, a lot of people like to travel. So doesn't mean you necessarily have to fly there. You know, there's also like driving there. There's also buses. There's also trains. I want to do the whole train all along the Pacific coast. You know, that's something I've been wanting to do. I don't know if you guys seen I think I saw TikTok, but then there's also like YouTube videos that shows you like where it goes by, and it's like a day thing or something like that. I can't remember, and it's a really comfortable train too. So, I mean, that's something I want to do, and eventually, hopefully, I can do it. All right, set future goals. Thinking about long-term goals and how you can work towards them. Focusing on your aspirations can provide a sense of purpose. You know, and this goes. I mean, this is almost similar to some of these other ones. You know. Sorry, all this talking. You have to set goals and everything, but actually, you have to actually work towards these goals. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, I want to do this," be super motivated, but then by Monday or Tuesday, they're like, the motivation is gone. No, like to get to that is going to take some hard work. So, what if you take things 6 months at a time, a month at a time, if you want to, you know? Because me, I'm just like, yo, I'm like, when the TikTok started blowing up, I was like, I'm going to hustle, I'm going to grind for the next 6 months on TikTok and see where I can get it to. And I saw where I got it to, and obviously I got suspended. But then I'm just like, all right, fuck. I got to do it again, you know? So now I'm just like, another 6 months, because that's what was going to happen. 6 months hits, and then you're going to be like, all right, another 6 months, I know I can fucking kill it, you know? And so right now I'm just like, all right, 6 months, I'm going to kill it again. You know, we're still growing, you know? Obviously the content is good, and people love the content, or else they wouldn't be refollowing, which is hard on itself, like getting somebody to refollow you. But all these new followers that I'm getting, all these new people, you know, so the content is good. That's why I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep hustling, keep grinding. But you have to set goals, and you actually have to work towards them. That's where the distraction comes, is working towards a goal. You're trying to lose weight. How much are you trying to lose? This much? All right. Let's say 4 months from now, I want to be down this X amount of weight. What do I got to do? All right, let's break it down. I'm busy most of the week. 3 days. I can work out at least 3 days a week, right? Like, but 3 days, no matter what, I'm going to hit the gym. 3 days. Like, I don't care what comes up. 3 days, I'm going to hit the gym. But then eventually that might go up more days. 6 days I work out. 3 days are running. 3 days are at the gym, you know. Might change during the winter just because it does get cold, and I don't like to be outside like that, freezing my ass off. But I set goals because I'm like, oh, I want to do this. And now my next step on the fitness is to eat well. Because sometimes I don't eat. Sometimes I eat all my meals like super late, a bunch of protein bars and stuff like that, and which is not healthy. So my next goal is to find a way to have like easy meals. Like, I don't want to spend time making meals. Like, I don't want to do that because it takes way too much of time. You know, some people are like, oh, I do all my meal prep on Sunday. It takes about 4 or 5 hours. I'm like, fuck. I wish I had 4 to 5 hours to edit, like to make meals on a Sunday. You know, I got 4 to 5. Like right now, I'm super behind. So I'm like, I don't have time to make food. Like, of course, I still eat, you know, like today, shout out to my brother-in-law. He made some food, ate some of that, got a sandwich. I have some protein shakes here. So, you know, I'm eating. It's not like I'm not eating. It's just I don't have the time to cook the food. That's the problem. The next one that we have, I don't know if I would do this one, but reflect on relationships. Take time to reflect on the past relationship and what you've learned from them. Use these insights to build healthier connections in the future. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. It's kind of hard not to think about past relationships. Let's be honest, especially like you're like, oh, like what did I do wrong there? Because obviously you do things wrong. You do things wrong. They do things wrong. You know, it's never just like once. I mean, for the most part, it's not one sided. There sometimes is, but me, like from past relationships, I learned what some of the mistakes that I did make. I remember a girl once told, like, well, an ex, she told me that she felt like I was not paying much attention to her just because I was getting busy. And I was like, oh shit, my bad. Uh, I thought, because I'm always on go, 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 go. I'm figuring like maybe she knows what I'm talking about. That I'm always on go, go. But she's like, you can't take a few minutes out of your day and just like call me or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, fuck. Now I think about it, I'm like, man, I should have took like 5-10 minutes, called her and been like, yo, what's up? How you doing? What you doing? How's your day? And things like that. But before I would just be like, well, it's because I'm like doing this, this, and this, and this. So, but you learn. And then I think the biggest thing you should take from previous relationship is what you will not accept from other people. Say you were dating someone who's like super jealous. You want your next relationship to be with somebody who's super jealous as well? Like, come on now. So you start learning what you will and will not accept. That's the biggest thing for me, is like what I will not and will accept. That's why, like, when people ask me what do I think about exes, I've learned that from previous relationships. I will not deal with exes at all. Like, if you have your ex in your life, I get baby daddies is a whole different boundaries. I get that. Okay. But if your ex is and you don't have kids with them, no, you are not talking to them. You are not friends with them. I don't give a shit what you say. Okay. If you want to be with me, that's something you have to compromise with me. I'm not friends with my exes. I'm not like still hanging out with them, talking to them or anything like that. So that's why I always say, like, if you can't do that for me, then we're not meant for each other. And that's fine. Like, that's cool. Go do your thing. I'm going to do my thing. Like, obviously it's not going to be with you. So, you know what I mean? Like, so you learn things. And because people are like, well, if you end on good terms, like this, I get it. Well, you going to learn. All right. So the next one that I have, practice gratitude. Focus on the positive aspects of your life and practice gratitude for the things you have. This can shift your perspective on reducing feelings of loneliness. Yeah, of course. Sometimes I just like sit back and I'm like, damn, I got all this, And I start thinking about it back when I'm like, oh, I want to do all this, right? And then when you get to that point, you're just, well, I'm not to the point, but you start getting, building and building and building. And then you're like, fuck, man, I built all this so far. You're like, dang, like, and then you start appreciating everybody that like sends you business, does business with you, follows you, supports all the stuff that you do, constantly, in every little thing. And that's why I'm always like, there's not enough words I can tell people how grateful I am for their help, for their business, for their referrals, for their mentorship, for their advice. There's all sorts of stuff that you can be thankful for, and it does help. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend that. But you also got to tell them too. That's why I'm always constantly saying on my social medias, that I'm grateful for people following me, supporting me, even the people that I see as mentors. I always tell them, that I appreciate them, and they know that they help me out. So like, trust me, I let them know too. And it makes me feel good inside, because again, we got to give people their flowers when they're still around. Let's not wait until they're not here to give them flowers. Okay. So, and the last one that was on there as well is you got to seek support. Okay. Like, this is if you're not going through like dark times, because we all know like there's those seasons in life when we go through some dark times because maybe something happened, right? But if you're going through those type of times, find some help. Meaning, like, talk to family and friends. If you don't really feel like you get the support from them, or you just don't want to talk to them, because sometimes you don't want to put your business out there and you don't want to tell friends and family because I don't know, some people just don't like to talk about those things. Find somebody to talk to, pay somebody to talk to. Like, you would rather something bad happen to you or spend some money and figure out what's going on. With spending some money, your ass is still going to be around. I mean, you can still be around, but you know what I mean? Like, there's some people who get to that, like, deep in that dark. And obviously things happen, they end up hurting themselves, which is not cool. So that's why, like, seek some help. Don't be afraid to pay people, that therapy, counseling, like whatever the case may be, because Their sole mission is to help you. Yes, people are like, oh yeah, you talk to them, and they're the only reason they're talking to you is because you're paying them. Yeah, duh. You don't pay your friends and family, so they're gonna give you like a half-ass like, oh, just get over it. No, fuck him. Oh, fuck her. Am I wrong? But this other person is gonna try to find what your problem is, because the reason they can pay their bills and do all this stuff is because they help people. So now their sole purpose is to help you. Yeah, they're gonna get paid for their time because they have bills to pay, mouths to feed, and things like that. So if they want to focus all their time into helping people, they got to get paid somehow. Okay, they got to make some money. Okay, so but don't forget that they're there to help you. Like, that's their job, is to help you. Figure out what the problem is and help you. So don't be afraid to pay. Okay, you'll probably get more help from them than you would a family member or a friend. Again, because why? Because they're doing it for free. Them, they're getting paid, but they want to help you. Of course, I'm not saying your friends and family do not care, but trust me, we all got problems. We all got our issues. And they're going to try to help you because they care for your well-being, and they don't want you to hurt you. But they're not going to sit there and like, all right, today we're going to grind it out. We're going to try to figure out what's going on. I need you to talk. I'm going to ask questions. Boom, boom, boom. No, like, you talk to a family or friend member, friend or family member. They're just going to, just like very basic stuff, oh, just do this. Oh, just do this. Just do this. And a therapist or counseling, whatever, they're going to like, okay, like, why do you think you feel like this? And then you start like, and they're there. They got the time. They're there to try to help you figure out what's going on. So at the end of the day, my biggest thing is I don't want people to get into, because I don't want to do it anymore, get into half-assed relationships, get into relationships where there's absolutely no benefit, and staying in relationships that we don't want to be in just because we don't want to be lonely. We need somebody there. Nah, again, I'd rather be single than be with somebody that's not for me. Again, because again, when I tried looking for somebody, I would always find the wrong person. And I'd rather be single than be with the wrong person again. Because yeah, I've done that, learned from that, I've been with somebody who was the complete opposite, meaning like, at one point I was like, am I asking for too much? And so I just took less than what I want. Meaning, I mean, I'm not saying they're less of a person, but they're just weren't on the same, what do you call it? Like, mindset as me. They were still like party, drink, never like real talks about like goals, career, accomplishments, investments. Like, none of that stuff like was talked about at all. So, you know what I mean? So that's why I was like, yeah, I don't like that type of relationship, because that's not me. Of course, I like to go drink and have a good time every now and then, but there's other shit we need to do, or I want to do besides that. So again, please, if you out there and you actually need some help with the loneliness part, seek help. Let's not do anything stupid. Let's get the help that we need, even if you have to pay for it, just because, again, they're there to help. But I want to thank you guys again for listening to another episode. Shout out to everyone who keeps supporting the podcast, listening, sharing. Leave us a 5-star. Give us a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. Share it. Keep following me on TikTok. Share the TikToks too. And I'll see you guys later.
The ghost inside of me, can't take it out of me. No matter where I've been, it's about where I'm meant to be. I be